Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Virtual Esports F1, a start of a new era, a brand new league on F1 25. Thank you all for joining me as the qualifying for our first ever race begins around Suzuka in Japan. So a few familiar faces from elsewhere who I've commentated on. But if you don't know who I am Lawrence. I've just recently stepped into the commentating business, and Rycon kindly invited me to come and commentate for you guys. And it's an absolute pleasure to be invited to do the honours. It's great to be here as the first cars make their way out on track to do their warm-up lap. Let's just quickly get everything set up for you all then. So the cars are making their way out onto the track, and the first car out it's not Joey B. It is Dennis, DRK, so it will just stick with Dennis. Yes, we're at Suzuka. It's the only track on the calendar which is a figure of 8. The circuit does consist of 18 corners and a very famous first sector, swooping S section, and in sector 2 we go under the bridge, and with a lovely hairpin just afterwards. Then we're on Spoon Curve, which Dennis has just negotiated, and down the back straight as we come into sector 3. Sector 3 is the shortest sector pretty much on the whole calendar. Blink and you do miss it. You've only got a chicane to negotiate, as we will ride on board with Dennis for the first ever qualifying lap in Virtual Esports. So, chicane, you want to swoop as wide as possible to get as much speed in the car, open your DRS and keep the car as straight as possible coming down the finish straight. He's staying as far left as possible to get as clean exit as he can, clips a bit too much the curb there, but gets through nicely. Running through the sectors now. This is turns 3, 4, 5 and 6 coming up. And then turn 7 is a long left-hander which finishes off sector 1. So far, it's looking pretty tidy for Dennis. Now we're in sector 2. It's a 32.188, his first sector time. And he's gone under the tunnel and now up to the hairpin. I will pick up the old corner names soon. I know Spoon. I will get the rest of the corner names up in a minute on my phone. So yeah, Spoon Curve. You want to run as wide as possible. Also, make sure you clip the apex just on the exit. Gather as much speed as you can down this back straight here. You want to burn any ERS you do have left to manage, but also just keep a tiny bit for the remaining short burst to the straight. Now we're into the final chicane, just slightly wide on the curb, and it does indeed invalidate his lap, unfortunately. So the first car to go over the line is Josh Dagaya for 127.6. Next across the line is the Ferrari of James. Coming up to the line, it goes second, a 29.3. Then we got Joey B jumping up to second place for 28.6. So that's 127, a 128, and 129 are the first laps to be laid down. Drogon is just starting a lap as well. We'll keep an eye on the Haas driver of Jelmel as they come up to the line and into third position with a 129.1. A good first lap. Wizard and BGR go into third and fourth of 128.6 and a 129.0 respectively. We have Robsu, who's just started lap. We've also got Darius here in the Aston Martin. Let's see what Darius can do, because I believe he's just coming up to the line to finish his lap. Very wide there on the grass. Thankfully, just keeping himself out of trouble there. Up to the line, and he goes pole position with a 1:27.597. A very good, promising opening lap for the Aston Martin driver. So we've got Drogon racing down the back straight, and we've also got Robsu to keep an eye on. So Drogon will be the first between those two over the line. So Drogon negotiating turns 16 and 17. 18, you just want to feather the throttle and not light up the rears too much. Drogon to the line, it's a 1:28.472. Now we go to Robsu. As he comes up to the line, it's a 1:30.4. He's made a mistake somewhere. Robsu is notoriously, he's not the best qualifier, but he is very good with race pace. You can never rule out Robsu at all. He always comes good in the race when it comes to race pace. Yes, so just getting the track map up. The track map I've got is upside down, and that isn't very good for knowing the corner names. So we know Spoon Curve, and the final chicane is the Casio Triangle. We've got the famous S-curves. And then after the S-curves, we've got Dunlop Curve, and then we've got the Degner Curve. Degner is the name I was trying to think of. And we do have a Ferrari in the wall. James has binned it into the wall. Ferrari does not want to be in that position. He will get himself back to the pits. He's lost a fair chunk of his front wing, both the end plates for sure. That Ferrari will not be in a healthy condition to get around. So a few cars coming out to do their outlaps for their second runs, notably Joey B, Dennis and Raikkonen. We'll keep an eye on Yarnell. I do apologise if I do pronounce some of your names wrong. Please do feel free to correct me, or if you have a easier abbreviated name for me to pronounce, then feel free just to drop me a DM, and we will get that sorted for you. But we'll ride on board with the Sauber. It's purple first sector, and this is looking very pacey by the Kick Sauber driver. Up to the hairpin. Famously known for Kamui Kobayashi's dive bombs years ago in his Sauber. I remember he pulled off fair few in one race. And a very underrated driver on the grid he was indeed. Around Spoon Curve for Yanao. I've always thought that this last bit here should be a DRS straight. It'd be nice if they could incorporate it before 180R. Anyway. Around the Casio Triangle, out of the last corner, up to the line for you now. It's a 1:26.9. That is a very, very promising lap. It's a brilliant lap by the Kick Sauber as he lays down the gauntlet to everybody else. Let's see who else is out there at the moment. We have Raikkonen just running very wide, and he has invalidated his lap. Just behind him, we've got Dennis in the Red Bull. Coming down the back straight over the bridge just about now as he completes the figure of 8 circuit. Picks his braking point into Casio Triangle. Not too greedy on the curves, but greedy enough just to keep the car within the track limits. It's a dash to the line for Dennis, and Dennis jumps up to 7th position. A very good, promising opening lap. We'll keep an eye on Joey B next, as he is coming up to Spoon Curve. Is Joe on a lap? His rear light is flashing. I believe he is backed out. Yeah, he's not pushing. Joe Mel, I believe, is a joint league owner. And it's nice to have him on board tonight for tonight's race around Suzuka. Sporting the Haas car. So down the back straight. Burning his last bit of ERS, clipping the curb on the inside of 180R. I believe it's 180R. You please do bear with me if I do get the corners wrong. It doesn't actually tell me. Anyway, to the line for Jalmel. He improves up to 6th position with a 128.355. So we got a Ferrari coming up to the line, and that'll be both Ferraris are on outlaps. Raikkonen, is he having another bite of the cherry? After invalidating his first run, he abandons into the pits. So into the pits for Raikkonen, currently sitting 13th out of 13th. We'll keep an eye on Wizard. I believe Wizard is one of our Indian drivers, I believe. I might be wrong, but please also correct me if I do get that wrong. Formula Phantom up to 2nd position with a 127.473. Wizard to the line up to 3rd position for 127.534. We will keep an eye on Josh the Guy. Looks like he's coming to the line to complete a lap. No, he's bailed into the pits. Jalmel isn't on a lap, but we'll keep an eye on Drogon. Drogon on his day is very fast, and he just ran a bit too wide there, clipping, taking too much curb on the exit, and unfortunately invalidating his lap. Now his teammate James comes up to the Sector 2 line. Will he improve on his previous best? He is up. So he is looking to improve. It doesn't look like he's going to jump up the order at all with this improvement, but it will bring him up closer to the field as he's negotiated the Casio triangle nicely, opens his DRS for a short burst to the line, and he improves by half a second, so it just puts him on the back of Joey B in 10th position. So a fairly solid lap. He's in pace with the rest of the field. We have Darius in Aston Martin now. And he decides that is enough. And I believe there is nobody on the lap at the moment. Oh, Robsu actually. We'll keep an eye on the ever faster Robsu. It looks like he was improving on the first sector. Second sector line coming up now. What's his improvement? He's over half a second. So if Robsu can keep this up, well, once again, it's a bit like James. He might just stay in 12th, but it'll bring him closer to the field as there was a car there just staying out the way. Very greedy on the curb there by Robsu, kicking up a load of wheel spin. Dashes to the line and sets a 129.3. He's half a second off James, but I know Robsu is a lot faster than that. Not too sure what Formula Phantom is doing in the barrier, but he needs to move or he's going to get disqualified by the game. Yes, keep that car moving, otherwise you'll be starting from the back. So you're now in Kix Alba. Flying, as it seems. His first lap was really impressive. He has just over half a second buffer to 2nd position. And the gap, the top 5 are just under a second. Then we've got a bit of a chasm between Josh and BGR in 6th position in his in the sister Kix Alba, his teammate. So negotiating Casio triangle, clipping the curbs ever so nicely, foot down, keeping the car as far right as possible to get the shortest go to the line, and sets a 126.758, and he's just getting even faster and faster. James in the Ferrari now. As I believe, Rob Su has just ducked into the pits. We've also got Raikkonen just starting a lap in the Alpine. Raikkonen is the only Alpine driver out tonight, so we will keep an eye on him after this lap, as all the drivers will slowly be coming onto the track to... Oh, it's very wide from Raikkonen. He invalidates and spins for good measure. It's a very unfortunate spin there. The Ferrari just got on the curb for James and just said, no, thank you. Hopefully he's got enough fuel to get back and maybe try another lap. Raikkonen then, he's just negotiated the hairpin. Pushing that Alpine as fast as he'll go. Looks like he has invalidated. So he will have another bite at the cherry if he has fueled up enough. You're now... I don't think we'll have enough to get back out there. We'll keep an eye on it. Looks like Yanal's qualifying session is done, but that is a very competitive time. I can't see it being beaten, in all honesty. So Yanal could be our very first virtual Esport F1 pole position sitter tonight. As cars are just negotiating their outlaps to get ready to start their final runs. So we'll keep an eye on Joey B, I believe, is the furthest ahead on a lap. We've also got Raikkonen also ahead on a lap. So Raikkonen will be the first car across the line, actually, on this final set of runs. So we'll ride on board with Raikkonen and quickly work our way up the order. Runs wide again. Raikkonen has invalidated. That's very unfortunate for him. Joey B hasn't invalidated yet. Well, not yet anyway. Let's hope he doesn't invalidate. He will be looking for a strong performance here. Yanal retires in the pits from this qualifying session. He has performed exceptionally well to put that Kick Sauber on pole position. So Joey B around Spoon Curve, just the front, just not wanting to enter as he would like there. Just a bit of understeer on that Red Bull, but now down the back straight, coming over the Sector 2 line. Is Joey B improving? He is, but ever so slightly. He could potentially make a position or two here, but it's going to be starting a bit further down the order, I think, Joey B. I do fear for him here. Across the line, and he jumps up to 8th position. So Joe definitely has more in the tank. Formula Phantom just coming to the line and making it across the line. So we'll keep an eye on him. We've got Darius on a lap. Josh Degai has just gone up to 4th position. Drogon up to 5th position with a 127.9. We've got Jelmel, who is down on his time. Let's keep an eye on Dennis and Joey B's teammate. Doesn't look like he is. No, I think there's going to be a few bailing out on laps here. Very wide from the Ferrari, very similar to what his teammate has done, and he has retired, or he has invalidated his lap, should I say. Sorry, I can't get my words right tonight. Rob Su in the Mercedes. Coming up to their ever famous 130R. Is it 130 or 180? Rob Su runs very wide there. Oops. So I believe that is pretty much going to be it for our qualifying session tonight. I don't think anyone else is on a lap. Darius, I believe, sorry, I do apologise if I missed him, but he is in 3rd. So there's a bit of a gap to pole position, but the rest of the field is nicely tight, especially from 2nd down to 6th position. But even so, the cars in the 128s are nicely matched as well. But race pace is different to qualifying pace, so it's all about how savvy you are when it comes to race pace and managing your tyres and staying out of trouble. So it's 130R. I do apologise. So our first qualifying session is done. Yanao takes pole position with a 126.758. Then Formula Phantom joins him on the front row. Darius in third with a five-place grid penalty. In the Aston Martin, fourth is Josh Tagai, fifth is Drogon, sixth is BGR, seventh is Jalmel, eighth is Joey B, ninth is Dennis, 10th is James, 11th is Robsu, 12th is Raikon, and Wizard is down in 13th with a disqualification. So that's our first qualifying session done and dusted for tonight. So let's get the drivers on the grid to select their race strategies and fuel loads for tonight's Grand Prix. I believe this is a 28-lap race around Suzuka. It's a very fast track, so the race will go by at a very, very solid pace. Safety cars are always a threat around here, and just going by how this game goes as well, I'd imagine the two-stop strategy will be the quickest and best way around here. It's a very traction-heavy dependent circuit as well, so fresher tyres will be king when it comes to the right time to box. It shouldn't be much longer now before the cars are on the grid and ready to go. Somebody's just joined a session, but a little too late, I would say. So that is a bit unfortunate for them. So it'll be interesting to see how this race pans out. At the end, I will pick 3 drivers for driver of the day, and then the community votes who is the driver of the day. So keep an eye out for that. Right, anyway, we are on the grid, getting ready for the formation lap. So Yanao leads us away. Formula Phantom in second, Josh Tagai is in third, Drogon fourth, BGR fifth, JLML is in sixth, Joey B seventh, Darius with his 5-place grid penalty has been demoted to eighth, Dennis is in ninth, James is in 10th, Rob's to 11th, Raikon 12th, and Wizard in the McLaren, rounding off the 13 drivers tonight. So Yanao is starting on the hard tyres. Let's actually just get a look at the tyre selection whilst they're on the formation lap. So Yanao in first, starts on the hard tyres. Then we've got second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth on the medium tyres, and Joey B on the hard tyres in a nice little medium tyre sandwich. And Darius on mediums, Dennis on mediums, James on mediums, Robsu once again on mediums. That is the last of our medium runners. And then we've got Raikon and Wizard rounding off the grid in 12th and 13th on the hard tyres. So we are on the formation lap. Yanao is not hanging around. He's wanting to get a move on with tonight's race. He's got a nice little gap to Formula Phantom behind him. Then you've got Josh in the Mercedes. You've got Drogon up in fourth as well. Keep an eye on Drogon. He has shown very good pace recently in other leagues. And then BGR just holding back as well, but he is catching up to the rest of the field on this formation lap as the pole position sitter makes his way round to the grid, just warming his tyres sufficiently, and he parks his car perfectly on the grid box. Formula Phantom coming up the line. You want to get your car purple. I can't see anybody at the moment who has been disqualified. A few cars slowly making their way onto the grid. And I think that'll be it. Right, here we go, guys. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we are underway for Virtual Esports F1. You now gets a very good start. Formula Phantom just didn't have the good as good as reaction times to jump him off the start on the on the medium tyres. So it's a very good start by you now on the hards. There is a few position changes further back, but everybody is still facing the right way and running fairly strongly, which is nice to see early on. Darius, with his 5-place grid penalty, has made his way back up to 7th position. He's jumped Joey B at the start. Joe is on the hard tyres, so his medium tyres will be a lot grippier and a lot faster in this early stage. We do have yellow flags, not too sure what that is for, but they are gone just as quick. So Yanao is out in the first position at the moment. We do have an overtake for BGR on Darius. That is a good overtake on by the Sauber as they just touch wheels coming up to Spoon Curve there. Just a little bit side by side, and Darius is very keen to get this overtake done on the kick Sauber. Doesn't want to be sat behind him as there's a car in the barrier, and that is Drogon who's retired. And that is yellow flags. And is that a safety car or a VSC? It looks like a VSC. Unfortunately for Drogon, he's just binned it and taken his front near side tyre off. That's a great shame for Drogon. And that is our first ever retirement in this league. It's very unfortunate for Drogon. Suzuka is always a tricky track to race on. This is a VSC, so it shouldn't be too long before we get back racing. So all the drivers will be driving at 40% race speed, and driving to a delta. You want to stay within the delta, so they have a time on their screens which lights up in green if they are good, but if they are going too fast, the time turns to red. And you do not want to be in the red when the VSC ends, otherwise you will have a drive-through penalty, and there's no arguing it. You've got to serve it. A few cars in the pits at the back. James and Robsu have boxed and changed their strategy, or potentially wings. It's green flag conditions again. We are underway. Yanel gets a good start as he's got Formula Phantom with him. Then there's a bit of a gap to Jail Mel. Down in third position, and you've got Josh the guy in fourth still, as we still got the Kick Sauber and the Aston Martin still squabbling over fifth position. We have more yellow flags. Robsu has had an incident in the first sector, but he is still in the race. I can see his car just slowly leaving the scene of the accident, and he is back up and running, which is good to see. So Darius is dragging along Joey B and Dennis in both Red Bulls behind. We'll keep an eye on the lead, but I think the leader is just about safe for now. I can't see an overtake happening here. Robsu has retired, and that is once again yellow flags. Is this for a safety car? No, it's looking like another VSC. Safety car is on. It is on reduced, but it is on. Robsu having enough for tonight. Yes, it's another VSC. So our second retirement in pretty much as many laps, unfortunately, for Robsu. So two drivers that I know quite well from another racing league have retired, which is a shame to see. Both are very strong race pace runners too. So potentially I'm going to have a field of drivers I've never commentated on. So it'll be very good to see some new names, but also there are old names. I do know Josh and Joey B and Raikon and Wizard. So once again, drivers following the Delta, but we should be back up and running in a minute as they all begin to speed up. Just following the Delta. So Jailmail is eager, and we are back under green flag conditions now. Jailmail has got a very good restart on the cars in front, just timed it nicely, and he is did catch up a bit of time there as Darius and BGR have finally swapped positions, and Darius sets himself about Josh the guy in the Mercedes. Down the start finish straight, we're on lap 24 of 27 of tonight's Grand Prix. As they negotiate the S sector around this, it's the final of the S's, and we are on the long Dunlop left-hander. Got Raikon at the back, just in no man's land at the moment. Unfortunately, we've got Wizard, who is in AI, or he's ghosting. I'm not too sure what's happening with him. We've got James, unfortunately, right at the back. But the battle for the lead, Yanal and Formula Phantom, the gap is just under a second at the moment, as Formula Phantom's medium tyres are holding on to the back of Yanal, but he's ran very wide there, and he has fallen out of DRS and also fallen into Jailmail's DRS range now, as Jailmail does have a nice little DRS train behind him. The two Red Bulls look like they have swapped positions at some point as well. I know Joey B is a good team player, so very good that he is hanging in there and playing the team game. We do have a move for Josh the guy on Jailmail for third position. So Josh looking to get on the podium in his first race, which will be a very solid start for him. He is beginning to close down Formula Phantom ahead as well, as Yanal is pretty much checking out in the Kick Sauber in first position. He's got a second and a half, but Formula Phantom has closed up quite a bit in this first sector. I'm not too sure what is going on with the Kick Sauber, but maybe just the superior pace from Formula Phantom in the first sector. A few drivers running wide in the background there as Josh the guy loses a few positions and just taps the back of the Aston Martin of Darius. Thankfully no damage for Josh the guy. But Jailmail is back up in third position, but he has Darius in close company behind. Darius is looking for a move up the inside of Spoon Curve. A little bit of contact there as the Haas driver runs wide, but the Aston Martin driver is through, and he does have a 2-second gap to Formula Phantom ahead. We'll keep an eye on Darius as he is showing very good, strong pace here. Jailmail is not going to give up this position. He backs out into the Casio triangle. Jailmail does have DRS. He is hounding down the back of the Aston Martin, but it's just not enough pace going down the straight there. Lap 6 of 27. Josh has just fallen back a bit in Mercedes, but perhaps just composing himself after a little error through the second Degner. We had brief yellow flags there. I'm not too sure what for. So we have a kind of a train forming ahead. If Formula Phantom and Darius can close up to each other, then everybody will almost be within a DRS train from first down to eighth almost. Joey B's just got to do a bit of closing up as well. But those hard tyres will slowly start to be stronger than the medium runners, as we will see soon. And you're now in the lead on the hard tyres. Do not forget, he will probably start to eke out a gap in the lead now, as his hard tyres will become a lot more durable than those medium tyres. Josh, the guy on the back of Jalmel, opens his DRS and he's burning his ERS as well. Looking to the outside there, little bit of contact as he gets his two left tyres on the grass, but he is through. I don't think there's too many dramas there. Maybe he might be a bit upset with how much space was left by Jalmel, but there's no dramas. They are both through unscathed and they are still racing, which is the most important thing. Dennis on the back of Jalmel now as well. Dennis is making moves up the field. So Darius is now on the back of Formula Phantom. Aston Martin driver's looking pretty handy here at the moment. He's been making moves through the field. He's started down in 8th position, I believe it was, and now he is back up to 3rd position in his rightful spot after his 5-place grid penalty. Around Spoon. Down this back straight, coming up to 130R. Famous for when Fernando Alonso overtook Michael Schumacher, I believe, in his Renault days. Casio Triangle, also famous for Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost back in the 80s when they was fighting for a drivers' championship. And the following year, Ayrton Senna did take Prost out in the first corner, just making sure that Prost was not going to speed away. We do have yellow flags. Perhaps someone has just had a moment back there. And it looks like Dennis has had a moment, and because he is behind his teammate Joey B. And Dennis was further up the order from that. So Darius has got past Formula Phantom, and we will ride on board with him for the next few laps because he is really seriously showing strong pace now. He has got some fresh air, and he looks to set himself about closing down the gap on you now. So Darius will be the first to box, and he will have a good undercut on the kick salver as well. So he'll be looking to build a good solid gap on the kick salver. But the kick salver will be on the medium tyres at the end, so it's all about how much of a gap he can build and whether you now get stuck in traffic or not. Josh the Guy is the first driver to pick up a track limits penalty. That's 3 seconds, unfortunately, for Josh. So he'll be looking just to eke out a gap behind him. It's 2.9 seconds at the moment, but there's a long way to go. You can never rule out a safety car, as there is Darius sets the fastest lap. Let's quickly put lap data on. There we go. That's what we want to see. That should tell us when fastest laps get posted. I do apologise for not having that on. I feel like I've let Darius down. I've missed a few of his overtakes, and as he sets the fastest lap, it hasn't flashed up on the screen. But Darius, I have noticed you have got the fastest lap. Let's just quickly confirm that. Yeah, there we go. Darius, the fastest lap, showing really good pace compared to the competitors behind. Josh is the closest to him for the fastest lap. Jaumel has just dropped off slightly from Josh now. He's got BGR just within his DRS behind, just within a second, and the gap is closing. So BGR will be eyeing up a move shortly down the pit straight, I would imagine, once he gets to activate his DRS, but he probably just needs to be a little bit closer than that. 0.8 is probably a bit too much for this short straight, as it is just hovering around a second now. As he opens his DRS, as he's going to pull up a lot closer to the Haas car ahead. Closes down pretty much just over half a second. So he's got to be within around half a second, really, to make DRS effective as he goes on to the back straight. Or the home straight, shall I say, the pit straight. Darius pushing as hard as he dares in the Aston Martin to hound down Yamal in the lead. Yamal's had it very easy so far in the Kick-Sauber, but the Aston Martin is going to try and keep him honest and show good race pace to close the gap. The medium tyres on that Aston Martin still got a fair chunk of life in them, as he is closing the gap ever so slightly. At this point, you would expect the hard tyres to be the tyres to be on. So amazingly, nobody has boxed yet. Wizard is in the pits as I say that, but I think that is AI doing that. So unfortunately, it looks like Wizard has had an issue with his connection potentially. So you're now just opening the gap down the pit straight back up to 2.2 seconds. The McLaren getting the blue flags coming out of the pits. I do believe that is in AI. So he'll be ghosted and shouldn't cause too much of an inconvenience for the cars coming back round, as Formula Phantom has made a mistake in the V-carb as he drops down to 5th position. He doesn't have damage, thankfully. He's just managed to keep his car out of the barrier, but he's lost a couple of positions, has Formula Phantom. And maybe we do have a retirement in the pit lane for Raikkonen, which is a great shame for the Alpine driver. Just enough is enough for him tonight. So we are down to 9 drivers technically. It looks like Wizard is in AI and quite a way back. Only one car within DRS at the moment, that is BGR on the back of Formula Phantom. Jaumel finds himself back up into 4th position. So having a very clean and tidy race is Jaumel just picking off a few people's mistakes. And it's all about right place, right time when it comes to being in the actual race, picking off people's mistakes or any errors which happens or incidents. He's found himself in the right place at the right time and still in a very solid 4th position. So BGR opens his DRS and he is very close to the back of that V-carb as he swoops around the outside. Looks like a little bit of contact maybe, but they are through. But not too sure what's happened there. It looks like he's had a bit of a half spin. Formula Phantom probably should have just let that place go, as he has got Dennis on the back of him now in the Red Bull, and Joey B not far behind. Is currently at the back of this small train at the moment. Yamal still leads on lap 12 of 27. Darius in 2nd position, 1.7 behind. Darius is showing very good pace on these medium tyres. I must say, I'm very impressed with Darius, just keeping his tyres alive and pushing that Aston Martin as fast as he dares around Spoon Curve. Losing a bit on the straight. Maybe it's lower wings that Yanao is running down the straight. But that Aston Martin is really doing a great job on his tyres. Closest battle on the field at the moment is Dennis coming up to the back of Formula Phantom. He's within the DRS zone, going through the Casio triangle, taking a lot of curb there and probably going to lose a little bit of time because of that. BGR and Dennis are in the pits to get rid of their medium tyres, and looks like they can take these hard tyres to the end as we're on lap 13 of 27. So perhaps tyre wear fairly equal around Suzuka. So all signs would point to Darius surely will be pitting this lap as we are coming up to the halfway point, and he had done more than half the race on the medium tyres. So perhaps we're going to see a little bit of a surge in the pit lane action in the next lap or so. You're now at 2.2 seconds. He will be boxing, I'd imagine, in the next 2 to 3 laps for the medium tyres also. So it'll all be about this next few laps could be race critical for Darius if he gets himself in the pits and tries to go for the undercut on the fresh hard tyres. I'm guessing Yanao will go on to the yellow wall medium tyres to finish off this race. But this is where Darius can earn his money if he does box, which he does, and we will keep an eye on how much of an undercut he gets now. Not speeding in the pit lane, that is very good to see as well, as we get more cars coming into the pits. Josh is in the pits, Mel's in the pits, Formula Phantom is coming to the pits. So as I predicted, there is a bit of a rush in the pit lane at the moment, as a few drivers moving up and down the grid. All of the drivers coming into the pits are on the hard tyres. Hello to Raikon in the chat, mate. I'm guessing the race just wasn't going as you planned tonight, which is very unfortunate to see. But welcome into the chat. It's great to have you here. So now Darius is the man to watch. He was 2.2 seconds behind. You're now chasing the lead. So now it's all down to the Aston Martin in the next few laps to really use his fresher tyres to his advantage, and really try and get as much of an undercut as possible. But I fear Yanao will be inevitable with his race pace come towards the end of the race. So we're going to have a very tight finish, hopefully, between the Aston Martin and the Kick Sauber, as they build out a nice gap. Darius has got a lovely gap to Josh behind, which is 6.2 seconds. He has got a nice cushion, so Yanao stays out for another lap. He's taking those hards as I'll say as long as he can go. I'd imagine we'll see him in either this lap or the next lap. We won't be far away from seeing a pit stop. Joey B, 21.1 seconds behind, but is in second position at the moment. Safety car could change everything if there was one to come out. But I'd imagine the drivers towards the back might feel hard done by with 2 VSCs and no safety car early on in this race. Darius closing up to Joey B, hand over fist in sector 1 as he comes up to Degner 1, and we got Degner 2 here. It's a purple first sector for Darius, looking to improve on his fastest lap. So Joey B is now within a second. Darius will want to dispatch the Red Bull car very quickly and not lose any time, as this is a race critical stint now for him, especially while Yanao is out on track. Up the inside of Spoon he goes. He just tags the Joe, and not too much time lost for Joe there, as Yanao is in the pits now, and he'll be looking to box onto the medium tyres. Purple second sector for Darius now in the Aston Martin as he comes up to the Casio triangle. He's really strangling that Aston Martin as much as he can. So now it's a drag race down the pit straight, as we will keep an eye on where Yanal is. And here he is. He is just going to keep his lead, but just ever so slightly. The gap is just half a second at the moment. So now Darius is a lot closer to Yanal in the lead. Can he keep his hards in good condition? The medium tyres, as Raikkonen says, will be very difficult to get to the end, 11 laps. So maybe they will see the end of their life. But Darius on that first stint on the mediums showed very promising pace. So perhaps the tyre wear seems to be fairly equal around here, as now Darius is a lot closer to you now. He will be very happy to be very close. It's a lot easier to chase your opponent than be chased in Formula One. You can always just break that extra few meters later. You can really gauge how much closer you're getting to them as well. It's a good mindset to be in once you are behind a car. Let's hope Dirty Air isn't too effective in Sector 1 through the S's and Dunlop Curve. Those mediums look like they have just warmed up for you now for the time being. The Aston Martin should have DRS. He does. As the flap closes, as he gets to the end of the straight, as he just taps the brakes. And the gap is just outside of a second at the moment. So this is to be anticipated with Yanal. He's on fresh mediums. And now they've warmed up after a good lap of race pace. It's all about can he eke out a gap, or if Darius can stay within or around DRS, then come the end of the race, it is going to be a very tight finish. So Josh the Guy, third in Mercedes, having the race on his own really, but he'll be very happy with third place as he goes around the second Egner under the bridge up to the hairpin. Just in a world of his own at the moment. Mel in fourth, as he's got Formula Phantom in fifth, just over 2 seconds or just under 2 seconds behind as I say that. Formula Phantom is pushing. Then we've got Dennis in the Red Bull in sixth position. We've got James in the Ferrari in seventh at the moment. Joey B is on his tail, and Joey B is on the medium tyres. So Joey B is doing the alternate strategy, just like Yanal, who's in the lead. So we'll keep an eye on Joey B. He could be very fast come the end of this race, and maybe the podium is out of reach, but potentially like P4 could be within reach for Joe if he can keep up the good strong pace. As the gap out front is just around 2 seconds at the moment, but that could be a bit of a slow burner. We'll have to come back to that towards the end. We do have yellow flags as there is a car in the barrier, and it is James. I'm not too sure what's happened. Don't reverse too far. Not too sure what's happened to James. He comes into the pits, hits the brake marker board, and the game resets him, sending polystyrene all over the pit lane. The FIA would be having kittens if that was real life, as with his pit entry there. As he's coming into the pits, I would imagine he's going to box onto another set of medium tyres. He is having a front nose change as well. So James finding himself on his own for the time being. So Joey B now trying to close down his teammate in the sister Red Bull. Well, let's say the sister Red Bull is his teammate, but RB Racing, they are the sister team. Let's have a look if I can work out constructors, and it looks like there's 2 Red Bulls and 2 Saubers racing tonight, so automatically they're probably going to be, the way this goes, going to be first and second in the championship. Kick Sauber leading the way, as it looks like Gel Mel has just made a mistake there, just braking too late as Formula Phantom gets through as he lights up the rear tyres. Does Gel Mel, and he is still in the race, but he has lost fourth position to Formula Phantom. You won't be too happy about that. It is very easy to outbrake yourself into the Casio triangle, but he lives another day. The gap out front just has extended to 3.6 seconds. Maybe Yanal's pace on the medium tyres just proving to be too difficult for Darius to close down. Yanal just rightfully calling that the alternate strategy maybe is the right way to go around here. Having such a strong stint on the hard tyres and then jumping onto the mediums is always a good feeling. If you know you're racing amongst the medium runners when you're on the hards, you know you're going to be there or thereabouts in the second stint, and you now is definitely more than there or thereabouts. He is in the race lead and just looking unstoppable at the moment. So we're on lap 20 of 27 as Josh the Guy just goes over the line to start lap 20 for himself. We have a little flurry of cars between Jamal Dennis and Joey B. All on the pit straight pretty much, and don't forget Formula Phantom in that as well. We will keep an eye on the gaps, but unfortunately it's just a little bit spread out. It is the first race of a new league, so there will be teething problems early days, but we will get there and get very competitive racing soon. It's been an intriguing battle for the lead, nevertheless, between Yanal and Darius. It's been a pleasure to watch these two just show raw pace and good talent out front, as Yanal has had this race pretty much under his control since lap one. It's led from start to finish. Josh the Guy in third on the last podium spot will be buzzing with that, I am sure. He's got a 3-second penalty, but it looks like it isn't going to matter too much. The closest gap on the track is Jaumel on the back of Formula Phantom. Is it Jaumel or Jelly Melly? I don't know. I do apologise if I've been pronouncing your name wrong. Joey B catching up to his teammate slowly but surely, using the medium tyres to his strength here. Sixth position for Joe maybe won't be the end of the world, as we'll keep an eye on especially the two cars ahead, as Jaumel has a half spin, as he was closing up to Formula Phantom but has lost any inroads he's made, and now all of a sudden we'll be looking behind him soon enough to Dennis and Joey B. And Dennis will have just seen that he's made a mistake in the Haas car ahead has just made a mistake. So cue the Jaws music. He is getting closer and closer. The gap out front is a stonking 6 seconds now. You're now just pumping in the times and just relentlessly. He's not going to let this race lead go. I thought Darius was showing good pace to potentially get a bit of an undercut, but you now showed even better pace. He's kept the race lead when he came out the pits and hasn't looked back ever since. Closest gap on the track at the moment is Dennis on the back of Jaumel or Jelly Melly. Joey B once again just hovering around 2.5 seconds to his teammate. He will want to close the gap, but perhaps maybe the tyre transition, maybe the hard tyres are just slightly that bit stronger on the hard tyres now. Maybe the hard tyres is the way to be. If that is the case, unfortunately, I just don't think there's enough time for Darius to close up to the leader. So Yanal starts lap 23 of 27, 5 racing laps to go. Negotiating the S's really nicely. It's just kept that kick salve so nice and smooth through all of the corners. Haven't seen him make a mistake or kick up the rears or run wide or anything here. It's just kept that kick salve on track very nicely and just showing unbelievable blistering pace as the gap is 6.8 seconds. I don't think there's much Darius could have done with his race strategy. Now he's probably driven, he's got the absolute best out of it as to what he can do. So perhaps P2 is nothing to be scoffed at. He's done very well, and it'll be on to next week, but a solid potential podium at the moment. Try not to put a commentator's curse on anybody. James has left the session. Not too sure if that is a disconnect or what. We'll see if we can invite him in case that was a disconnect, if my game would allow it. We'll send him an invite just in case it is a disconnect. But on lap 24 of 27, I can't really envisage too much, maybe. Perhaps we have seen enough of James for today. We've got yellow flags out there. Not too sure what that is for. Mel looks to be struggling, and Joey B has got past him, and he is up to 6 is Joe. And yes, it looks like Mel has had another venture or a slide in the Haas car, as it looks like he might be missing that front right end plate as BGR gets through as well. And yes, the Haas car does have front wing damage, and that'll really hurt around here. So potential for the Haas driver to go into the pits and potentially try and box for the fastest lap. James is in the pits. Is he going to do exactly just that? He is. He's bolted on a set of the soft tyres. So we'll keep an eye on James for the fastest lap, potentially. Lap 25 of 27, and the gap is just still extending up front. Kudos to Yanal, just showing brilliant pace and just raw speed is phenomenal, really, for the kick salver. So the closest gap on track at the moment is BGR, closing up to the back of Joey B, as Jaumel does pit for soft tyres as well. Do they have the pace to snatch the fastest lap? That will be the true race in these last few races here. Few laps here, shall I say. So we'll keep an eye on whether the fastest lap does pop up on top of the screen. So it's most likely Sauber will be top of the constructors, then Red Bull in second position. So it's very early doors at the moment, but they'll be very happy to have some good solid points on the board compared to their other teams around them. Josh in the Mercedes will score good points for them as well. I will quickly have to look up the points if I can before the race closes out anyway. It's not letting me see it right now. Nevertheless, we have got a race to finish commentating on here, as Yanao pushes out 11.1 seconds. Absolutely superb pace from the Kick-Sauber. It's got a nice purple helmet as well. Has the Kick-Sauber driver. That is a very solid looking helmet, I must say. Nice bright purple. Darius just looks like he's got a black and green helmet. It does complement the Aston Martin quite nicely, I must say. Josh the guy coming down the straight. Haven't been able to get a good glimpse of his helmet. Both Sauber drivers actually have got very nice helmets, purple, and then BGR has got a red and black helmet. That's a very nice looking helmet. And Gelmel's helmet as well, also looking very spot on for the Haas driver. Ferrari helmet doesn't really stand out too much in that red helmet and a red car, and can't really see Wizards as he's ghosting, but Yanao is on his last lap around Suzuka. We'll ride on board with him to the checkered flag, as BGR has closed up within DRS to Joey B. So will Joe also have the pace to keep that Sauber behind him? But around Spoon Curve comes the imperious Yanao in the Kick-Sauber. Just one more big straight to go now, up to 130R for the last time, and then into the Casio triangle for the last time also. It's going to negotiate these two corners ever so nicely, but also ever so carefully too. Just making sure that car comes home to take the first win in virtual Esport F1. It's a win for you now, a great debut race for him. Darius is going to come home in second position in the Aston Martin. A superb first stint from Darius, but maybe just the offset of tyres just not working in his favour, but a very solid P2. Josh the guy coming home in third place as well. Won't be demoted with his penalty, as Formula Phantom just negotiating the chicane as well. We'll keep an eye on Joey B, whether he can keep the Sauber behind. Is absolute raw pace side by side into the chicane. Joey B did look like he left some space, but BGR just missing out there. But it's a tough corner to overtake on. You need full commitment and full trust with whoever you're going to overtake on. So Joey B comes home in fifth position, and Dennis in sixth. Have they swapped positions somewhere maybe? As BGR crosses the line, and Jelmel or Jelly Melly is coming home to finish the race. I don't think it's going to be fastest lap. It won't be doing that, unfortunately, as our last driver crosses the line in eighth position. So that is our first race done and dusted. The first race of the season, as we see you now on the podium with Darius alongside him and Josh the guy rounding off in third position. A solid first race for these three drivers. Just staying out of trouble, being consistent, And yes, bringing home a very nice, tidy podium. So yes, the race winner was Yanal. And the fastest lap did go to Joe Mel. Let's just quickly double check. Yes, it did. I missed that completely. So Yanal takes the first ever race win in virtual esport F1. So congratulations to him. Second place was Darius. In third was Josh the Guy. Fourth was Formula Phantom. Fifth was Joey B. Sixth is Dennis. BGR is down in seventh. Mel is in eighth with the fastest lap. James not managing to get the fastest lap, unfortunately, in the Ferrari. Wizard in the McLaren looked like he is in AI, and unfortunately, 3 DNFs was Raikon, Robsu, and Drogon. Drogon retired on the first lap. Robsu retired on the third lap, and I think Raikon got out to lap 12. Right. I believe I've got to pick 3 drivers for driver of the day. So, I mean, option number 1 will be Yanal, and option number 2 will be Darius, both getting good moves done. And the final spot, I think it's only fair that I give it to Josh. I know it's a bland first set of driver of the days, but they're the first 3 drivers to get a podium in this league. So they are my first volunteers for driver of the day for now. So I will let Raikon know who has been nominated. So thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. I'll quickly have a look at the calendar for next week. So next week we are off to Imola. So I look forward to seeing everybody then. And thank you for tuning in and enjoying the stream. Thank you for your comments throughout. Until next week, I will see you then. Thank you very much and goodbye.